Hey guys, welcome to the video, welcome to BlackwellTV, welcome to the YouTube channel, hope you're doing well. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Berserker build. It's a legendary build that people don't normally go with. They tend to aim for the Bloodied build or the Junkies build, or maybe an instigating build, something like that maybe. But this Berserker's build, I think it's underrated, and I'll show you why in this video. Just to bear in mind, we do also live stream on Twitch, so if you do want to head over to twitch.tv/BlackwellTV, get yourself in the community, drop a follow over there, and you'll see when we're going live, and you can join in. Awesome stuff. Right, into the video, we're going to be discussing the perk layout, the mutations, the armor effects that we're using, the weapons. For this one, we're rifles. I'll explain why in a bit, but also we are going to be talking about the armor effects to look for, such as the materials as well as the effects themselves. Okay, without further ado, let's get involved. We are running as a Terminator. We are role-playing this character as a Terminator, so as you can see, the appearance looks kind of cool. We've got some quips as well for the Twitch live stream, so it's all in good fun. Right, let's get into it. Terminator Berserker, let's do this. So let's take a look at the perk layout we've got here at the moment. As you can see, with the special points along the top, we've got 3 in strength, 15 perception, 5 endurance, 3 charisma, 5 intelligence, 11 in agility, and 14 in luck. Now, we don't have all the perks that we want for this build just yet, but this is the base that we are working from. Okay, so we are going to be running as a rifleman for this build. You could go shotguns, you could go pistols, you could go big guns. You can go with whatever build you want. However, you've got to remember that for the sneak damage, you tend to need a suppressor, and some of the big guns don't really have suppressors. You can't get a suppressor for a Gatling gun, for example. So a Berserker's Gatling gun kind of out of the question, really, for this sort of build. So we are going rifleman because we know we can put suppressors on the 50 cal hunting rifle and the lever action. So they're the two that we're going with today. Again, you could go with a handmade, you could go commando, as long as you can get a suppressor on it. It's pretty good. You could probably go melee as well, but you'd have to go for different sneak perks instead of what we are going for here. On top of that, we are going with tank killer, and we are also going with concentrated fire. Concentrated fire, super useful for when you're deploying headshots with a critical hit. And we have chosen tank killer because your rifles ignore 36% armor and have a 9% chance to stagger. Moving on into strength. Now, we're not going for anything in here for carry weight purposes. We're going with blocker here so we can stay around longer. This enables us to take 45% less damage from your opponent's melee attacks. Into endurance, we are going with adamantium skeleton. Removes all limb damage, so you will not be slowed down by anything. And we are also going with Revenant. Now, Revenant is a very, very useful card for this build. You gain a 50% damage bonus for 2 minutes when a player revives you. Now, this doesn't limit you at just being revived by another player. This actually works if you are revived yourself by a legendary piece of armor, or if the mysterious savior revives you. And we have got the testing here as well, so you will be able to see it in action. So that is confirmed. That is the case. Moving into charisma, I would suggest using Lone Wanderer for this one. However, I don't have that card at this point. We're going to have a look at an overlay from Nukes and Dragons, and this is what we're expecting from that card once we have it unlocked. Heading over to intelligence, we're going with Demolition Expert. Now, this card is quite expensive, really, with 5-point perk card. However, it does 60% extra damage on the explosive bullets. Now, these weapons here don't necessarily have explosive bullets, but if you get an explosive effect, you know it's going to do quite a lot of damage on enemies that aren't the Scorched Beast Queen. If you don't use explosive rounds in your weapons, then I would suggest switching out this perk card and switching out a couple of points as well. Move them over to endurance and get Rad Resist, which is a good situational perk card for blast zones. You could also use Farm Assist, which is an intelligence perk, and that will help you cure your rads a lot better as well, a lot more effectively in blast zones. We'll talk a little bit more about that with the hazmat suit later on. Now, moving into the agility section of your perk deck, there is a lot of cards here that you could use, so you could pick through however you wish. The ones that we are going for are Covert Operative, Moving Target, Mr. Sandman, and Dodgy. Now, we don't have Mr. Sandman or Dodgy at this time, but they're going to be super useful when we do get them in. And moving into luck, again, there are a lot of perk cards that you could use from this section of the perk deck. We are going with Starched Jeans, we're going with Serendipity, which allows us, while under 30% health, to gain a 45% chance to avoid damage. If you want to go Born Survivor and you want to level that card up, then Serendipity is probably not going to be useful for you very often. We are also going with Bloody Mess, which enables us to get a 15% bonus damage, meaning enemies turn into a red gory paste. We haven't got that fully leveled up yet, but we are going to be put on the 1-point perk of that card. So at the moment we just get a 5% bonus, and we are going with Mysterious Savior. So with this build, when the Mysterious Savior revives you, you get 3 things from him. Number 1, you get revived, you get back into the action. That's always important. Number 2, he gives you a Stimpak to put in your inventory. So technically, if you wanted to farm Stimpaks, you could do it this way. And number 3, because we've got Revenant, that will trigger and you will get 50% extra damage output for the next 2 minutes. It's a great stack. Get it used. It's fantastic. One luck perk card we failed to mention so far, and it's because I haven't collected it, is Better Criticals. Now that enables you to have VAT crits do 40% more damage, which is stackable with a sneak attack, and if you've got one of those weapons that have VAT crits do 50% more damage, then you'll be popping off heads in Appalachia faster than I can say Appalachili. 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 Fuck it. Corn soup. So let's talk about mutations. For this build, we are rocking 3 mutations. We're going to be Grounded, we're going to be Healing Factor, and we're going Speed Demon. Now, I have considered going Adrenal Reaction with this build, and I haven't picked up that serum yet. So in theory, you could maximize your output even more so by having less health using Adrenal Reaction. So what we have at the moment is Grounded, which is energy resist plus 100, energy gun damage minus 50%. Now we're not using energy weapons for this build, so we don't worry about the negative. And the energy resist plus 100 is super useful because that doesn't affect our Berserker build. Okay, so now you can see the life-saving armor pieces that we have. We've taken them all off. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got that energy resistance of 100 from Grounded. Let's take a look at the perk card. You gain a 50% damage bonus for 2 minutes when a player revives you. Player in inverted commas can also mean lifesaver. It can also mean Mysterious Savior. So do bear that in mind. We have proved that. We have tested it. Okay, taking a look at our armor pieces. Now, as I've mentioned, all of them are going to be lifesaver pieces, but it's the other effects that we need to note as well. The left leg has plus 25 radiation resistance, as well as the lifesaver effect. This is lead lined to maximize the radiation resistance that we're getting from it. The life-saving robot piece has the radiation resistance built in. You'll note this is level 40. With the Berserker build, the armor level doesn't actually matter because the only thing that changes between level 1, level 5, level 45, level 50, whatever, is the amount of damage resistance. Now we are looking for 0 damage resistance, so it doesn't matter at all. Moving on to the left arm, we've got a 2-star here. Again, this one's a scout armor piece and it has plus 25 radiation resistance as well. The chest piece is a 3-star. This one has weapon weight reduction by 20%, which is very nice to have. Quite handy little effect to have. We run that on our Junkies build. For more information on our Junkies build, click the card in the corner right now. It also comes with +1 agility, and you'll note that Trapper armor has the best radiation resist of all the armor types in the game, so keep an eye out for that if you're looking to build a build that mimics this one, because you'll need a lot of Trapper armor. Ideally, life-saving Trapper with rad resist would be perfect. Get what you can, because obviously it's not that easy to find the perfect armor pieces for your build. And the right leg, another Trapper piece. This one is just a standard life-saving piece. Comes with 23 rad resist. You'll note that some of the mods for these armor pieces actually bump up the radiation resist anyway, so do bear that in mind. Also, if you're wearing this armor waiting for it to break, then you might want to apply the mods that, number 1, keep it as light as possible, and number 2, give it as little condition as possible. So some of the mods out there do shorten the condition bar as well, so bear that in mind. Obviously, once the armor is broken, you can still mod it, so at that point, you probably don't want to repair it ever again, but you might want to put on carry weight perks such as deep pocketed or radiation resist and stuff like that to boost your build and your stats that way. For this video, we are going with 2 weapons. We are going with the Berserker's armor-piercing hunting rifle with a 50 cal receiver, true stock, true barrel, a suppressor, which is very important, and a recon scope, stinging magazine. They're the mods for the weapon. At the moment, it's doing 125 damage, and we are also going with the Berserker's hardened lever action rifle. This one's giving us an extra 10% while we're aiming, and again, we're going hardened receiver, true stock and barrel. We're going with night vision scope to cover us at night, and we're going with a suppressor as well. This one's outputting 94 damage as as well, but bearing in mind that our armor is applied. We take off our armor and we are looking at 234 for the lever action rifle, and we are looking at 313 for the hunting rifle. So you can see the difference straight away. So for the lever action, the jump from 94 up to 234 is a difference of 140, and with the hunting rifle, the start stat is 125, and the modified stat is 313, which is a jump of 188. So you can see the difference there is significant, and it's really going to help us out with this build. In our first test, we've headed to Welsh, and we've removed all of our armor pieces, so we have no lifesaver on at the moment, and we're just testing our weapons to see how much damage we can do with them. Now we're relying on our status bar to remain hidden or caution for our sneak attacks to work. If it goes to a danger status, then our weapons aren't going to be as effective. However, they are going to be quite effective in a stealth environment. Because we've got no armor on at the moment, we are very vulnerable if we are attacked. So we need to really stealthily move around the map. Pick our shots, pick our spots, loot and shoot. Simple strategy, but it's very effective for a Berserker build. So as you can see, we can do over 1200 damage with a headshot, averaging about 600 per shot while we're hidden. I'm intrigued as to see what we can get with a crit shot. Methodical in the approach. It's nice. It's a nice change of pace really with this game. We've got a crit ready. We've got it lined up against that level 40 glowing boy over there. Just can't get the shot though. Now other builds you could just run and gun and be happy with that, but with this, you've got a little bit more strategy involved. You just gotta take your time, find your spot, and engage when the time is right. We're just gonna creep along this house here in front of these cars. Try and get the shot. Still not really available. Keep it quiet. Wait for the opportunity to present itself. And then execute. 1345, not bad for a Berserker build. Phase 2 of testing, this time we're going to be a lot more aggressive with our playstyle and see how we get on as a Berserker. Now we still don't have armor applied, so our hit pool is still quite small. We're against low level mole miners here, nothing that we should be struggling against, but as you can see, we are obliterated. Rushing enemies is really not the way. It's not a strategy for a Berserker build, especially one without any armor on. A couple of moments later, we have to go back and get our bag. So as you can see, we've got a level 14 mole miner here with a melee attack. So it's a perfect opportunity to see exactly what the difference is between armor and no armor at all. So as you can see here, the damage that we're actually receiving isn't that much. Now, if we remove our armor, obviously it's going to be a lot more, but just to see the difference firsthand, the same enemy control group right here, this is how much damage it does in comparison. Now this is only a level 14. Can you imagine a level 50 My Alert Queen, for example, on a Berserker build? It's really not something that you really want to be living through. You don't want to have to endure it. It's a pain. Trust me, I know. The whole point of this second test is to show you that when you're not wearing armor, your weapons are more effective, but unless you've got that broken armor applied, you're gonna need that armor. And when you're wearing the armor, your weapons are pretty much naff. At this point, death becomes me. Trust me when I say this, it was an arduous task to get all of our armor broken on this character. Imagine that, but 100 times over at the White Springs Hotel. That's pretty much what it was. I did it so you guys don't have to, just to experiment and test the Berserker build. Part of the game, isn't it? It's all part of the experimenting. It's all a part of researching and making YouTube content. Okay, back to sniping, back to business. Now that was a sneak attack with our armor on, and it only landed about 250 damage. Now if you compare that with what we did earlier, we were looking at about 636, I think it was. That build is exactly the same build with and without armor. Nothing else has changed. In our third test, I'm just going to summarize here because it was a long event. We headed down to Watoga. There was a Scorch Beast Queen. We got involved with it. We used the same weapon. We used a lever action gun, and we had full armor, and we were doing about 7 damage to the Queen. We switched the armor. We turned it all off, and we did considerably more damage. Now, it wasn't massive. It wasn't like a bloodied weapon, anything like that. The biggest difference that we noticed is when we were no longer in a danger status. We went to caution, and at that point, we were doing some pretty handsome damage in the end. We experimented with the crit hit as well, both in and outside of stealth. And we did enough damage to get some loot off the Queen in the end, and luckily for us and our current build, we managed to get ourselves a Berserker minigun. Here's the highlights from that event. Enjoy. Test 4 tells us that power armor and a hazmat suit are not suitable for blast zones for a Berserker, for the simple reason that you can't put your armor back on afterwards. Rad-X, diluted Rad-X, and Rad Shield, you can apply any of those. However, the last one you apply is the one that matters, because that's the one that gives you your rad resist. I would go with Rad Shield for that because it gives you plus 300 rad resist. On top of that, take a stack of rad away with you, use the farm assist perk and rad resistant to get you that extra bit of radiation resistance, and just keep an eye on the bottom left corner of the screen and keep popping rad away when you're in a blast zone as a Berserker build. Test 5 is an exciting test. It proves 2 things. Number 1, that broken lifesaver still works, the legendary effects still work, and consequently all legendary effects on armor still works despite the armor being broken. And number 2, if you look at the left hand side of the screen carefully, you'll see that Revenant is procced off of lifesaver. That's fact, that's proof, it's confirmed. Lifesaver works on broken armor and it triggers Revenant. Test 6 is a quick one, and it just goes to show that Mysterious Savior procs Revenant. Test number 7 proves that it does not cost a Stimpak to revive you via Lifesaver. It's a very useful one to know. Now, you may need a Stimpak in your inventory for it to trigger. I'm not sure about that, I haven't tested that one. But what I have tested is the quantity of Stimpaks that I had before Lifesaver procced is the same as afterwards, telling me that it doesn't use a Stimpak, or if it does, it replaces that Stimpak immediately. Useful to know. Test number 8 shows that the Mysterious Savior hands you a Stimpak, revives you, and that Stimpak goes into your inventory. As you can see, we started out with 16 and 6 as we did with the previous test, and after the Mysterious Savior has injected us and revived us, we've got 17 and 6. So that's confirmed as well. Lovely stuff. Now that all our armor is properly broken, we can finally start our Berserker build fully. We're going to start heading around the White Springs. We're going to see what we can do against these robots now. Now that they've had the upper hand on us, we're going to get a little bit of payback. We're still in caution. It's not too big an issue at the moment. However, when it turns to danger, essentially as soon as that switch flips from caution to danger, our weapons are pretty much redundant at that point. So we need to evade. We need to get out of there. They're quite effective against the level 8s, but anything higher than that, like a level 40 or level 50, you're going to be in big trouble. At level 46, look at it, it's just tearing us apart a bit there, we're down. However, we have got Lifesaver now. So we can get out of there pretty sharpish. And away we go. And of course, we are back in Watoga. The build is ready. We're going to the best place to test it out. We're going to down the Queen. We've got all of our Lifesaver pieces broken. We've got Revenant. We've got Mysterious Savior. Let's see it all come together and let's see how effective this build really is. We're among friends here. Obviously there's Junkie's assault rifle there. That's useful for our other build. In fact, probably not. It's probably going to get stripped. We're among friends here, so it shouldn't be too difficult to take down this Queen. Already down to half health, but regened already. Let's see. So it looks like we're using VATs at the moment quite a lot. We are in danger at the moment, so we're not making use of that stealth attack. Okay, now we've found our caution. That's our perfect spot to engage in battle. $34 damage. Quite a distance. Quite interesting to see what we can get up to with this build. Maybe on enemies such as the super mutants at West-Tech. If you'd like to see that, let me know. Yeah, we could head up to West-Tech. Test our build against the super mutants there, high level ones. Have you found a build that works in a different way to Bloodied and Junkies? Maybe you're going Vanguards, maybe you've gone armor based. Let us know in the comments, just tell us. Let's have that conversation. We've gone with a 50 cal here. We don't have any perk cards for the 50 cal, so it's going to be largely ineffective. So there you go, that's the rest of the battle. My name's Blackwell. I'm available on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. By all means, drop me a follow on social media. If you head over to the Twitch channel, you can get invited to our Discord as well. There we go, the Queen is dead. She has been looted. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Peace and love to you and yours. Hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content. And I'll catch you on the next video.